What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and show where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the May 15th, 2023 edition of Raw Talk. No Jackie Redmond this week. Scott Stanford filling in for her alongside Matt Camp. They open up the episode replaying the Seth Rollins, or at least part of one of the Seth Rollins interviews from Raw. Honestly, my favorite part of the show. I thought Raw was fine. Boring, again, a lot like it was last week. And honestly, I'm probably kinder to Raw than most weeks. I thought this week was a very boring, dragging, plotting show. I had some good stuff on it, though, including that Rollins promo, like I said, or the interview, rather, the sit-down interview with Corey Graves. They replay that. They recap the Nakamura versus Miz match, won by Nakamura. They cut to an interview backstage with Nakamura, who was quickly interrupted by Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. Damian Priest comes storming in saying, "I lost last week because of you, Nakamura. You got pinned in that triple threat with Rollins and with the winner advancing in the finals, or the semifinals rather, of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament." And he blames Nakamura for that. And Nakamura then brings up how Damian Priest lost to Bad Bunny at Backlash last weekend. And Priest was pissed. Balor calms him down and says, "Listen, I'll deal with him next week." So I guess without it being officially announced here, it sounds like we're getting Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor in next week's show, which sounds fucking awesome. I was going to say I don't know if they've had any of their matches beyond their match in NXT, which would have been now 7 years ago, which is fucking crazy. That was Finn Balor's send-off from NXT back in 2016, and obviously Nakamura won that. They had a rematch. I was going to say they didn't have any of their matches after that. They actually did. I don't know if they had any more matches on TV, but they definitely had at least one, if not two matches back, I think in either 2018 or 2019. I think Nakamura was the one who beat Balor, actually, for the Intercontinental Championship. I think he beat him on TV in a non-title match and then beat him at the pay-per-view for the championship. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they ran it back on the main roster about 4 years ago. This would be better. Priest is now, or rather, Balor's the heel, Nakamura's the babyface. Give them more time. No one even remembers that match. It might have even been on the fucking kickoff show for one of the pay-per-views, like Extreme Rules or whatever. So running it back would be pretty cool. Hopefully we get that match next week. They replay the Becky Lynch promo addressing Trish Stratus and challenging her to a match in Night of Champions next weekend. They hype up the contract signing for said match at the pay-per-view coming up next week on Raw. And Matt Camp says that the match may very well decide who the GOAT truly is in WWE Women's history between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. We hear from the way backstage, all of the way. Johnny Gargano, Indy Hartwell, Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, they were all back there. And Gargano again says before the interview gets underway, he's talking to Candice and Indy and Dexter and says he'll be back soon. And then Candice is like, she was acting apprehensive, so I don't know what that was all about. I assume he's talking about Tommaso Ciampa. I said that last week as other people did. That would make the most sense. I don't know why she would be apprehensive, though, because, I mean, he's not a member of the Way. But the last time that we saw Gargano I guess the last time we saw Ciampa, he was a heel. The last time we saw Gargano and Ciampa together was in NXT in War Games back in December of 2021. And it's not like the last time we saw them interact, they were rivals. They've both been, heels at separate times. They've been allies, frenemies, friends, whatever, enemies. So I assume Ciampa will hopefully be back as a babyface reuniting with Gargano. I think that'd be fucking cool. The Way is nice and all. I love the Way. They're very entertaining. I think Gargano deserves a real singles push, and if not a singles push, then a push in the tag team division with Ciampa. So hopefully that's legit. Ciampa is back soon alongside Gargano. Hopefully that's who they're talking about. And even Matt Camp brought it up. After this interview was over, he again referenced, who is Gargano talking about? All of the Way is there, so who else could be coming back? Hopefully they're referring to one Tommaso Ciampa. Indy Hartwell says that Lumis couldn't get the job done in the Battle Royal to determine the number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship, which he's still proud of him anyway. He was eliminated pretty early, too, so I think that goes to show what they think of Lumis as like an undercarder on Raw. But it was her first time on the Raw set, according to Johnny, and Indy says, "Oh yeah, it feels good, it feels great." And then she asks Kathy to ask Lumis a question about, like, your thoughts on being on Raw or whatever. Obviously, he doesn't say anything, but Indy just responds with, "Carry me away." So he then carries Indy away, and then Kathy then asks Candice, "Can you carry me off the set?" So then Candice carries off Kathy with ease. I mean, she was struggling a little bit, but she was still able to pick up Kathy and walk off with her. And then Kathy asks Johnny, hey, can you sign off for me? And then Johnny says, well, that's Raw talk, and then smiles, and that was it. So you can tell. I mean, Johnny has said it before in other interviews. The unscripted nature of their promos is very fucking funny. Like, they're very funny as baby faces. I mean, really as heels, whatever. They're great. I love the unscripted nature of their promos backstage because it's very entertaining, and you can tell it's like authentic. So I thought that was awesome. That was definitely the best part of the show by far. The way of great chemistry. Hopefully they're more than a comedy group on Raw itself. I would like to see all four members, specifically, I mean, Candice as well. I was thinking Indy and Johnny, but Candice as well. I mean, Indy and Candice can be a tag team. That's also very possible. I don't know what Indy's status is as far as like if she's still hurt or if she's recovering, whatever. Hopefully we see Indy and Candice in the women's tag team division soon. And maybe she even saves Candice from, who's she facing next week? Zoe Stark. Maybe she saves Candice from Zoe in that match, and that sets up a Candice and Indy tag team in the women's division. Very possible. So anyway, after that, they replay the Cody Rhodes promo addressing Brock Lesnar. They hype up Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes for Night of Champions, and so far is only what is being billed as a fight. I mean, it's still a regular match. I don't know why you wouldn't give that a stipulation. It feels like we're at the point in the feud where it should have a stipulation, unless they're doing a third match and they're waiting until then, which would just be stupid. They recap the Battle Royal to determine the number one contender, the aforementioned Battle Royal, to determine the number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship, won by Mustafa Ali. So they hype up Gunther and Ali for the Intercontinental title at Night of Champions. We hear from Gunther backstage alongside Imperium. Giovanni and Ludwig don't say anything. What Gunther says as far as, speaking to Byron, what can be expected out of Imperium now that they're on the Raw roster? And Gunther says really just more of the same. The same thing that they did on SmackDown, they will do on Raw as well. And he says it must mean a lot for Ali to challenge for that championship in Saudi Arabia. He's going to be doing all the media, have the spotlight on him. But it means more to him. It means more to Gunther to be the Intercontinental Champion and essentially, guaranteeing victory. I forgot the word there for a second I was trying to use. Guaranteeing victory in this promo for the match in Saudi Arabia. To close out the show here, they recap the main event that saw Judgment Day beat Owens and Rollins in non-title tag team action. They hype up the SmackDown face-off that will see Owens, Zayn, and the Bloodlines, Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa share the ring. So that'll be interesting. And they also plug Big E and Mustafa Ali for the bump coming up on Wednesday. Good edition of Raw Talk here, recapping Raw, all the major plot points. We had the way on this episode. We had Judgment Day, Nakamura, all of Imperium, so pretty solid stuff from Raw Talk this week. Thank you guys for checking out my review of the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.